One of the things I've learned over my time in Croatia is that some of the most inspirational and positive people and stories come from Eastern Croatia, which is a region that gets a lot less attention than perhaps the coast and Zagreb. And we're here today in Lola Restaurant in Vukovar. It's a beautiful restaurant. I've been here a few times for dinner. It's fantastic. And I'm with a man called Sinisa Djuric, who I met for the first time about 8 months ago, when we went to the Vukovar Museum, which is the place where the Indo-European culture was there about 5,000 years ago. It's a very, very amazing place. And back in its time, it was the equivalent of, say, Paris today. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But Siniša is somebody who has, for me, one of the most positive mindsets that I've come across in Croatia. Despite having really a nightmare start to his life. And when he was 7 years old, he was, during the siege of Vukovar, he was in the hospital, which was eventually taken over on November the 18th in 1991. And he's gone from there. He has lived his life. He's passionate about Vukovar. He has a very, very positive look towards the future. He's built a nice thing for his children. And to me, he's a symbol of Vukovar looking towards the future, and I really want to have a chat with him, talk a little bit about the past, because just to give it some placement, but really to talk about the future. So welcome, Siniša.
Thank you very much, Paul.
So Siniša, we have a lot to talk about. I'm really keen to talk about Vukovar as well, where you're working and the amazing work you're doing there. Let's start at the beginning, if it's not too painful. 1991. Tell us, you were 7 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you. So you were in the hospital. Can you give us a bit of background about the situation, what you remember, and what happened on that day?
Unfortunately, I remember a lot. My mother, she was working at the Vukovar General Hospital. She's still working there with the babies. My father he was a Croatian soldier. He was up on the front. And my older sister and I, we were in a basement of Vukovar General Hospital for almost 3 months. It was very hard because every day for us, for the kids, like I always say, it was war, but we were trying to have some kind of a normal childhood, but It's very hard in those days. I always say I read a lot of books, a lot of comic books. We were playing hide and seek. You saw this basement in Vukovar General Hospital. There were around 200 or 300 people there in a basement, and kids, us couple of kids, we are playing hide and seek.
Wow.
So it's very hard to understand now in 21st century, in 2024. But like I said, we were trying to have some kind of a normal childhood. But of course, this was not even a close for a normal childhood, because every day they were bombing us. Every day you can hear the screams of the people who were injured. Like I always say, I saw the things that no one, not even an adult, should see. I was 7 years old. Of course, I remember that. If you send me to a store to buy a couple of things, I will surely not remember all of this. But I remember those things that happened 34 years ago. I was 7 years old, like you said. But I always say the things that happened in 1991 during this siege of Vukovar, I think that it helped me to be a better man. Now I understand the pain and suffering. We were talking about this war in Ukraine now in 2024, and I saw those kids. This little girl, she was very confused. She didn't
same
know.
Kids like same 7-year-olds like you were in 91.
It's the same. It's the same. So
that must have brought back some powerful memories.
Really. I have 2 kids, 2 daughters, 12 and 7 years old, and I put myself in a position of a father now. You have to guard. You are a father also. You have to guard your family. You have to guard your kids. But it's very hard. Now when we don't talk here at Vukovar, we don't talk about the war. Not with a beer or a coffee, something like that. We don't talk about the war. Within my group, I talk about the war. But I always say, when I go to the general hospital, this basement, my mindset isn't a 40-year-old man. It's 7-year-old kid. When I go there,
does it? You go right back in time?
Yeah. I go right back in time.
Right.
Somebody from television, they were recording me. I was with Doktorica Vesna Bosanac, and it all came to me. Those smells, those things. I saw this bed that I was sleeping in, and it's even today. We can talk about everything, but when I go to this basement, I'm not a man, 40-year-old man. So, but I want to talk about it because this was my past. You have to learn from your past. And if it was not so good or bad, you have to make it better. So people in Croatia, all around the world, when you talk about the war, when you are talking about oil or something like that, territory, you have to talk also about the kids, those 7-year-old kids. And I think now Vukovar, of course, we have to remember the war, but we also have to remember and we have to think about the future.
Yeah. So what happened to you after the Serbs came in and you left the hospital?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We went to Serbia.
Okay.
We went there for a night. We were there for a night. And they were telling us, nobody wants you in Croatia, nobody wants you there. But we came back to Croatia, my family and I, and we went to this city called Bjelovar, which is around 80 kilometers from Zagreb, our capital city. And we were there until 2000. And then we came back. We came back to Vukovar. And
so you were 16 when you came back to Vukovar?
Yeah, of course. And you can imagine, 16-year-old boy. Yeah. I was doing sport. I was in my high school. I had a lot of friends, and I came here. Vukovar now and Vukovar near 2000, it's not even close. Yeah. So there weren't practically no light here in Vukovar center. So it's very hard to get used to this situation. But even then, I gathered my friends. Okay, we can do this. We go out. I was doing barbecues. I was doing parties, and people were, oh no, okay, just not so fast, but you have to know somebody has to be the leader of the group. Sure. And I can say, stupid enough, stubborn enough to be this guy. And like I said, you have the cards have been dealt. You have to deal with this. Yep. You have to play the game with those cards you have. So, but every year. Later college, and when I got my first job on Croatian radio Vukovar, and later I went to Vučedol. I think those are new experiences, and I think every new experience made me a better man. I think so. Yeah. I hope so, of course. Yeah.
Do you remember your first impression when you came back as a 16-year-old to see the city that you have these childhood memories, and obviously your parents have been talking about coming back, I guess. And, and then you came and you saw it and you were like, what the fuck?
I don't know if I can say this.
You can say
I was telling to myself, okay, Siniša, what the hell is going on here? Yeah. This Vukovar, it's very hard to translate. You are a 16-year-old boy. You know about me, I really love Vukovar. But when I came here in year 2000, I wanted to do this. Okay, we don't do this in Vukovar. I was training. I'm not very good, but I was training basketball, and I wanted to play basketball here. Okay, we don't have the basketball club. We have only a Serbian basketball club. It's very hard in year 2000. Also, I have a Croatian jersey. You know, our football team is very, very popular. And I had this Croatian jersey, this national jersey. And my father told me, okay, son, maybe it's better for you not to wear this jersey when you are in Vukovar.
Wow, because in Bjelovar would be no problem at all.
No problem at all. Also, not now even, but in year 2000, it's very hard. Maybe when I'm alone in this jersey, somebody attacks me. So, like all the fathers, he was looking after me. But then, for me, okay, Dad, I live in Croatia. I have a Croatian jersey. You live in England. You have a David Beckham's jersey. You can wear it, no problem. But in Croatia, in Vukovar, in those days, it was not so good to have this jersey. Maybe nothing would happen, but for my father, okay, be safe. Yeah.
Wow. So you've sort of had this love of Vukovar from childhood. And tell us about how things have changed in Vukovar since you came back in 2000. It's now 25 years later.
Yeah.
What have been the good things, and what have been the things that maybe have disappointed you that haven't moved forward?
I think the good thing happened that Vukovar became touristic mecca of eastern part of Croatia.
Okay.
A lot of people are coming via cruiser ships via Danube River, and I think around 300,000 people are coming via Danube River with those cruiser ships. I also work as a tourist guide, but this is a great thing that happened. And a lot of people coming, especially from abroad, they are spending their money here in Vukovar. You have this restaurant, you have these coffee shops, you have these great things in Vukovar. But I think that the thing that we have to change the most is the mindset. Okay. We have to change this mindset because a lot of people, especially those older generation, I know they have the reason, but they're still in 1991. Mm-hmm. Okay, like this famous proverb, divide and conquer. Mm-hmm. Here, especially politicians, you have to divide. You are Croat, you are Serb, you have to divide them. Yeah. So it's very hard to live in Vukovar, but if you are divided, it's great for me to be. Yeah. So a lot of people, especially young people from my generation, I'm not so young now, but 10 or 15 years ago, a lot of people from my generation, they went to Germany, they went to Ireland. I think a lot of them, they are homesick. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are coming for their vacation, something like that. They're telling me, okay, Siniša, my good friends, they can be honest with me, Siniša, it's very hard. My friend, he told me, I bought this great new jeans. I wanted to go out to the city. I haven't worn those jeans for a year because only I do, I work and I sleep. Yeah. I have no time for, I don't know, maybe for a beer in a city. Yeah. So it's very hard, not for all of them, but a lot of people who went abroad, they're having difficulties because also, you came to Croatia, you saw our mindset, mm-hmm. and it's very hard to with this mindset to go to Germany. Everything is in Germany, everything is written in stone, mm-hmm. and it's very hard. But a lot of people, I think in last couple of years, they're coming back in Vukovar, in Croatia, in Slavonia. And I think that we have to produce this climate mm-hmm. for those people that they want to come back to Vukovar and to Croatia.
So you have a very positive mindset. Do you think, are you in the minority, or are there quite a lot of people like you, or more and more people coming to your way of thinking, do you think?
I know I'm a minority because, like we talked, complaining is Croatian national sport. Mm-hmm.
You guys are Olympic champions.
Yeah. Okay, I can complain. I'm not tall, I'm not blonde. I can complain all day long. But you have your cards. You have to play the game. So, of course, I surrounded myself with those people who have this positive mindset. A lot of those people are entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. They have some kind of a job. They do 2 or 3 jobs also. But I like to have those people around me. Yep. And if you have those positive people around you, you will be positive. Yep. A couple of years ago, I had this idea for those negative people in my life. I pushed them. Okay, we can talk. You have problems, no problem. We can drink a beer, but we cannot drink 7 or 8 times. You come to me with a problem. Okay, what is positive with you? What you have 2 kids. Tell me about your kids. They're going to music school. Tell me about them. So I think that I'm like you said. I know that I'm a minority, but I don't give up. Yeah. So I have my way of looking at the things.
But where does your positivity come from? Why is it you've got it and nobody else does, or so few people do?
Really, I think that if you look at things in a negative way, mm-hmm. you attract negative things. That's true. Yeah. Okay, I said to my kids, "Oh, Dad, I don't know. I'm training a volleyball. I don't know if I could just." Okay, what do you think? Ronaldinho, Messi, and Ronaldo, they all were great at 7 years old. They were great at 11 years old. Ronaldo is 39. He's still training every day. Mm. So you have to push yourself. You have to push yourself. Okay, maybe you'll not be the best volleyball player, but I want for you to enjoy the sport. Yeah. I wasn't the best basketball player, but I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoy it now to play with my friends. Also, I'm trying to teach them. Okay, you will have failures in your life. No, for sure. Nobody is 100% perfect. But I think if you look positive, most of things will be positive, not negative.
So you have two daughters, 11 and 7?
12 and 7,
12
yeah,
and 7.
yeah.
So a 7-year-old daughter today in 2024 compared to your 7-year-old self in 1991. Tell us what being a 7-year-old is like today in Vukovar.
I think it's great for them because Vukovar is rather small town. We have around 20,000 people living. Everybody knows everybody. You can play sport. You can go to music school. You can go to theater school or something. You have a lot of choices, and you can play. The kids play. When you are 7, you play with your friends. So, like when I think about these things, when I look at my kids, I look at them. They don't know what I'm thinking, but I look at them and I think, okay, when I was a 7, I asked my father when we were in general hospital in the basement. He was wounded and he came back to general hospital to this basement, and I asked my father, Daddy, I'm hungry. I hadn't had anything to eat the whole day. And he, because he was a defender, he had some kind of a small bowl of soup, and he gave me this bowl of soup. And I told him, Dad, I'm still hungry. And he told me, sorry, my son, I do not have anything to give you. Tears are getting in my eyes when I talk about this. And I have my kid, she is 7. Oh, I don't want to eat this. Why? Okay, I want the chocolate, not the, I don't know. Okay, it's very hard for me then. And I have to say to them, okay, you have to know that the things happened in 1991. I don't want to that they have to think about those bad things that happened. But you know, you have to be grateful. I always tell to them, you have to be grateful for the things that you have, not to be sorry for the things that you do not have. Okay, you want to have this. You want to be the best volleyball player. You want to be the best violinist. No problem. Practice. Also, yeah.
How do you? For me, it's very interesting. I'm a foreigner, and we didn't have the war, so on one level, I have no right to an opinion. But here in Croatia, in 8th grade, we were there today at the water.
Yeah.
You have all the. It's compulsory. You have to, as an 8th grader, go to Vukovar and see everything.
Yeah.
Personally, my personal feeling, I think it's really important to remember. For me, an 8th grader is too young, and so when with my kids, they were both sick that day. I made sure they were sick, so they didn't go. And I will take them when they're 18. I'll make sure they go because it's important. How do you feel about the way that Vukovar is portrayed to the younger generation? Do you think it's good the way they do it now, or would you do it differently? Or
I think not. I agree with you that they are still young. When I came back, I was around 16, and I went to Ovčara, and
that must have been really tough.
Yeah.
Because that's where most people from the hospital went, and they were executed. Just
I know the things that happened.
Yeah,
it was very near for me to go to Ovčara.
Yeah,
we went another way with our bus. We can go to Ovčara. It was a 50-50 chances. So, but I think that there's
some went to Ovčara and some were freed.
Of course, I think that they're a little bit young because they are around like 14 years old. A lot of them have the respect for Vukovar, but I think that they are not mature enough to see the whole picture. They have to know from their history books or something like that. In school, they have to learn about this homeland war, of course. But I think that maybe when they are in high school, maybe 17 or 18 years old, they have that 1 year in this period of time in your life, 15 or 16, it's a great change. But when they are 18, I think that they will be mature enough to see the whole picture, not only because it's very hard in those 3 days. You have 2 museums, you have to go to the church, you have to go there, and it's very
intense.
Intense. This schedule is very intense, and I think that it's a little bit early for them. Especially, I think that you are a father, and I think as a father, me also, I know what is best for my kids. Somebody is mature enough when he's 14, 15, and somebody is at 18. You will bring your kids to Vukovar and you will tell them. Like you said, you're not connected to the homeland war, but somebody from Split, from Zagreb, from Dubrovnik, you have to go with your family to Vukovar 1 or 2 days. You have to come here and you have to explain them if it is important to you. Okay, my son, my daughter, these things happen.
How do you deal with your kids?
I always say, I never mention Croatian, Serbs, something like that.
Yeah.
When they were little kids, especially they looked at the Vukovar water tower. Now it was rebuilt,
Yeah.
but let's say 5 or 10 years ago, they asked me, okay, why is this building so ugly?
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
And I told them, especially during the war, bad people attacked Vukovar and good people like your grandfather defended. That's the end.
Yeah.
Later, when you're old enough, you will know that Yugoslav National Army attacked Vukovar defense. So they will know the whole story. But when they are around 7 or 8 years old, you have to fill their heads with hatred.
Yeah. Which is what the politicians do.
Yeah. We have enough of this.
Yeah.
My daughter, she is 7 years old. She's playing and she's telling me, okay, my friend, this one is Serb, this one is from Ukraine, I'm a Croat. Okay, no problem. You can all play together.
Nice.
No problem.
Nice. Yeah.
They come to us, they eat our cookies, they drink our juice. Okay, no problem. I don't give a damn who you are, who your parents are. If you are a good kid, you can play with my kid. If you're not a good kid, I don't.
Doesn't matter if you're Serb or Croat, you're a bad kid.
It's no problem. So,
so obviously, like being a tour guide must be pretty hard emotionally. If you're taking people to Ovčara and to the hospital, how do you feel about tourism in Vukovar? Because I guess a lot of people want to come and just talk about the war.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess you want to talk about all the other beauties and stuff like that. How do you deal with that as a tour guide?
Like in all the things in life, you have to make a compromise. Because, like you said, for a lot of people, especially for Croat people, when they come here, they want to hear about the war.
Yeah.
And when they hear that I was 7 years old and they are like
amazing story.
Amazing story. Yeah. They're like listening to me. They're listening to every word I say, and I try to say the truth.
Yeah.
So I saw all the things, those legendary stories in Vukovar, in General Hospital. I was there when the bomb fell. Yeah. I was there when the Yugoslav National Army soldier was wounded. He was brought to Vukovar Hospital. And the Croatian National Army soldier defended this guy. Wow. So he was our enemy, and the doctors were taking care of him. So a lot of stories about the war. But one gentleman from United States, he told me, this thing that you were 7-year-old kid during the Homeland War, it made you a better tour guide. Yeah. I'm not telling the stories somebody else lived. I'm telling the stories I lived.
You experienced.
Yeah, I've experienced. And like I said, okay, I talk about the war, the things that happen, but I always say, we will cry a little bit, we will laugh a lot when you come to Vukovar. Nice. And trust me, when you go home, you will be happy and you will come back. Yeah. We have this saying: if you drink Danube water, now you drink beer. Yeah. But if you drink Danube water, of course, you have to be local patriot as I am. Yeah. So if you drink Danube water when you come here, you drink Danube water, for sure you will be back to Vukovar. Yeah. So a lot of people, for us in Croatia, when you say Vukovar, this is I can say this is a heavy word. This is a holy word. Yeah. I don't want to sound but for people in Croatia, still in 2024, when you say Vukovar, it has a meaning. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are asking me, okay, how can I help Vukovar? How can I be of your assistance? And I will say, okay, you come to Vukovar with your family, no problem. You drink a beer, local beer. You come to this restaurant, you eat a lunch, you drink a coffee, you go to the museum. Yeah. This is the best way you can help Vukovar. Not writing stories on Facebook or something like that, especially when you hate somebody. Okay, Serbs, those people, these people. Okay, come to Vukovar and help us with this
economically.
Yeah.
Spend money.
If I go to Dubrovnik, if I don't know, buy a drink or eat at local restaurant, I'm helping those people. Yeah. Those are my people, Croatian people. Yeah.
How do you feel about November the 18th itself? Do you walk every year? Because it's kind of like Vukovar only exists one day of the year, and 364 days of the year it doesn't matter. And then it's the most important city in the whole of Europe. On that day. How do you feel about that, and how do you personally spend that day?
I always, when November starts, I always get the calls from newspaper agents, journalists. Okay, Siniša, somebody recommended you. You tell a great story. Okay, I said no problem, especially if I know you, but we exist 365 days a year. Not only this. Okay, everybody will go to Vukovar. They will try to find the new stories. It's 3-4 years ago. The time has passed. Those stories are in the past. Nobody has the new stories about the war. But I really appreciate all the people who come here to Vukovar, especially on this November the 18th. But when you come to Vukovar, don't, on this date, you shouldn't make it all about, I don't know, drinking beers, walking, eating. You have to respect. I always say to the people, okay, come 2, 3, 4 weeks before this date. I will show you Vukovar. There will be so crowded in Vukovar, but for the people who are coming here, especially for the newspapers and journalists, you have to respect this. And don't try to, okay, what Milanovic said, what Plenković said, okay, this will be the main agenda, the main story. But Milanovic, now we have our presidential elections. I can imagine what will be in 1 month's time. So when you come to Vukovar, you have to respect this story. And also, like I said, we exist 365 days a year. I always point that out. So come to Vukovar, eat, drink, sleep. This is the best way.
I first came on November the 18th in 2019, and I was with the Dubrovački trombonieri. And it was a really horrific experience. I completely understood for the first time what everything was about. And then I came again in 2021. It was the 30th anniversary. It was COVID. There was no March in COVID. So, and the difference between 2019 and 2021 was, for me, was huge, because it was much more of a celebration. There was a lot more joy than there was previously. I guess people hadn't seen each other for 2 years and that kind of stuff. Do you feel that the November the 18th has changed over the years?
I think because, unfortunately, a lot of people who were here during the war in 1991 have died. A lot of defenders. You have our hero, Dr. Vesna Bosanac. She was in the Vukovar General Hospital. She died recently. She died recently. And I'm very sad to see those people passing. And a lot of Croatian defenders, a lot of soldiers from Croatian National Army, they are dying earlier than the people, let's say, Dubrovnik, Split, and the other. So every year there are less and less of those people who lived in 1991 here at Vukovar. But also, we are sad when the fall comes in Vukovar. You can feel the atmosphere. You can feel it. When I see the trees, those colors, golden colors, brown colors, I always say, okay, it's very hard, especially on the 17th, 18th, 19th of November, for us people at Vukovar. I know a lot of people, especially Croatian defenders, when this day is approaching, they go to Zagreb, they go to Split. They told me, they were heroes in 1991, they tell me, okay, Siniša, trust me, I can stand this. I go to my friends to Zagreb, to Split. Okay, we are talking about all the things. The war isn't a topic. So everybody deals with this kind of a sorrow in their own way. For me, when I was a journalist, this was the busiest day of the year. And when the night comes, I walk past, 1 year, I walked past the Vukovar water tower and I started to cry. It's like all the dams were flooded. It's very, very emotional for us. And when somebody is emotional, don't poke the bear. Just let him be. We needed time. maybe in 1 week time, we will be okay. The Christmas is approaching, no problem. You have families, you have Christmas tree. But in those couple of days, you have to be very, very sensitive with Vukovar people. And I think we have to remember what happened in year 1991. But it's also, like you said, it's the joy. Because we celebrate those people like Doktorica Vesna Bosanac, Dr. Juraj Njavro, Blago Zadro, those heroes. Mm-hmm. I always say, I was here during the war. The war brings out the best and the worst in people. Those people who were the worst, we have to forget them. Yeah. But those people who were the best, they were heroes. Mm. So.
Yeah, wow. And do you walk every year?
Almost every year, because sometimes
with family,
with kids? Family, with kids. Like I said, it's very hard because for me it's very emotional. I know I can see people, they are laughing, they are telling stories. Okay, it's great. Maybe you come to Vukovar once a year. You find your friend, you are talking, you are laughing. But for us, it's not so easy. Yeah. I always say I was 3 months in a basement, and when I went out, I couldn't recognize the city. Just imagine.
Wow, because it's all completely bombarded.
Yeah, wow, yeah. I can hear. I was in the bus. We were traveling the main road, and I can still hear 3-4 years later this bricks crushing under bus. Those sound. Yeah. And when I walk this city center, sometimes I remember those things, those pictures. They are coming to me. So I also saw a lot of things. I will not repeat here. Sure. But for us, it's those couple of days are the hardest days in the year. Yeah. So we are very emotional, and sometimes it's even hard to walk this road.
So so I was talking to one of my friends from Vukovar, and she says some years she does walk, and some years it's just too emotional and she doesn't walk. It's from an outsider. It's interesting just to see how different people deal with the day. Some are they have to walk, some are they want to be in Zagreb, some of them are they just want to be with family but around and on. So it's like Vukovar 91 is probably the most famous date in history for here. But let's go back 5,000 years. Let's forget about the war. Let's talk about where you work now, the amazing story of Vukovar. For people that don't know about Vukovar, can you just explain what Vukovar was?
Yeah.
And then talk a little bit about what you have today in Vukovar.
Yeah, of course. So Vukovar people, they are first Indo-European people who came here 5,000 years ago from modern-day Russia through Ukraine and Romania, and they settled here this region. They were here only for 500 years, but they did some amazing things. Some of them for the first time in human history. And when you go to our museum, a museum of Vukovar culture, you learn this interesting facts. Mm-hmm. So, for example, this beer you are sipping, the first European beer wasn't produced in Germany or in Czech Republic, those famous beer nations. It was produced here at Vukovar region 5,000 years ago. First serial production of a metal, of a tools. So Vukovar people, they produced, let's say, 50 axles in one afternoon. Mm-hmm. The other cultures, one by one. It's slow process. Also, the first Indo-European calendar, they divided the year in 4 parts, like we do today. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And they also saw, it is amazing for me, they saw this leap year. They have to add 1 day every 4 years.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
So I always say, if you put me on a Danube bank for 10 years without internet or school knowledge, I could not see this. Yeah. So I always joke that they have to had some kind of a Nikola Tesla 5,000 years ago. Yeah. This guy who is so advanced. And a lot of people, especially tourists from abroad, they're coming to Vukovar, they're coming to Vukovar Museum, and they're telling me, okay, how come this culture is so advanced, so ahead of their time? We never heard about it. So I joked with my guests from the United States. I always say, our church in Vukovar is older than America. So it's we haven't started in 1991. This Vukovar homeland war, or they always ask me about Tito. Tito is the only person in the history of Croatia that they know. But it's very interesting because museum was open year 2015, and now we had more than 1 million visitors,
really?
Which is a very big number for us. Like, we are not Dubrovnik, we're not Split, but we try. We try. And a lot of people who are coming here, they tell me, okay, we will call our friends, we will come back to Vukovar, to your museum, because this story is so great. I always say, if Vučedol was in the United States, they'll made a Las Vegas around it. So for us, like I said, eastern part of Croatia, we are not so entrepreneur-like, but I think in years that will come, that we will have something very, very special on this place.
And tell me about how Vučedol and the museum is developing, because you've got some quite exciting plans. And
yeah, we have a plan. It's a little bit slowed us down, this COVID situation, this inflation, this thing in Ukraine. But I hope in 2 years' time that we will have this archaeological park, coffee shops, restaurants, replicas of the houses you can easily enter. So when you come to our museum, you can drink beer, you can eat something local, you can visit this replica of a house. Maybe somebody who is, 2 meters tall, he has to enter the house it was built for a person who was 1 meter 50. So I think this is this living history we are talking about, and I think that this will be something new and something positive to Vukovar tourism.
And you're still excavating. There's still a lot more to discover. Because the museum is actually on the site.
On the site, like archaeologists say, this museum is in situ, so it's on the place of a culture we are talking about. I always say to the kids, okay, you are standing now. 5,000 years ago, Vučedol people were standing here. They were living, they were dying, they were eating and drinking. So it's very interesting because every year they do excavation, and we have more than maybe 100 years of excavation. We are now on less than 15% of the soil. And I always say, you have your goggles and you have 15% of the vision. What do you see? Yeah. We have only 15% of the vision about Vučedol culture. And with this 15%, we know this was so ahead of their time.
Is there a budget? Is there a plan to excavate further?
Yeah, of course, every year, but only in during summertime when the weather is good. People from Zagreb, from archaeological faculty in Zagreb, those students also and their professors, they are coming here to help us with those excavation. And trust me, every year they find something not new but old, new for us, and very interesting. And I'm not archaeologist. I'm a journalist by profession. I don't have their way of thinking about what they see, but they tell me, okay, you can see Siniša, this is the wall here 5,000 years ago. I can only see the dirt, sorry, but they every year they find something from Vučedol period of time that we can say, okay, this was 5,000 years ago, not 500 years ago. How come? How come?
Incredible.
Yeah, trust me, it is.
When did Vučedol become? Because I would say it's still not so well known within Croatia, really. There are a lot of people in Zagreb, they know nothing about east of Croatia. That's one thing I've learned. But when did Vučedol really start to become sort of a bit better known? Was it the opening of the museum?
Of course, opening of the museum, because in year 2015, I always say, also, especially for the people who came abroad from foreign tourists, I tell them at the end, okay, now you more know information about Vučedol than 99% of people in Vukovar. In Croatia also. True. Because for today, if you are from Vukovar, you have the free entrance to our museum. I can bet that 50% of the people from Vukovar don't know that, and they haven't been in our museum. So we have great thing going on here, not only in tourist way, but you have this great museum, this great culture. When you talk with archaeologists from Germany, from, England, when you say Vučedol, they know, okay, this is a good thing. So I think that we have a great thing going on here, but we will have to invest more. Not only because when the people are coming, okay, it's great, you learn something about Vučedol culture, but of course you have to eat something, you have to drink something, you have to have a restaurant right next to the museum. So I think in 2 years' time, I hope in 2 years' time that we'll have this archaeological park built. We can offer more to the people, to the tourists.
So let's say I want to send my friends for a couple of days to Vukovar, and you're going to be the guide.
Yeah.
What are you going to show them?
I don't like those tours that are pre-ordered.
Yeah.
So I always ask people, okay, what do you want to see?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to feel what was during the wartime? Especially for the people from Croatia. But I also say, I go to my friends who have this local brewery, small brewery,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you story about how they produce beer. You can try the beer.
Brilliant.
Also, I go to Vrhunsko Vukovarsko.
Yeah.
You can try local wine. You can try local cheese or something like that, local things. Also, I like to show them something that isn't so tourist-like. So you can go, you can ride a horse.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the restaurants. We can call maybe a tamburica band. You can hear something from our eastern part of Croatia, this music. So there is something for everybody when you come to here. And I always say, when you come here, I think that you experience this because you are here often. When you come to Vukovar, you come to eastern part of Croatia, you're not a guest, you're not a tourist.
Mm.
You're my long lost friend.
Yeah.
You are my cousin who I haven't heard and hear for a long time.
Yeah.
So when you come here, people are already asking me, okay, especially for guys, okay, when I order a food, can I be fed? Is it small portion or big portion?
Yeah.
Trust me, when you go to the eastern part of Croatia, especially Vukovar, you will be full.
Yeah.
You will be full.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're not the number, because when you go to Dalmatia, when you go to Istria, of course, a lot of people, big numbers. When you go to a restaurant, you are finished with your meal, you are finished with your beer, and they're looking at you, okay, you have to order something and you have to go.
Yeah.
In Vukovar, you can drink your coffee the whole day, no problem.
Yeah.
So
I say that one of the differences between tourism in Dalmatia and Slavonia is I've never ever met a person who's been to Slavonia who has come home disappointed. And like just today, I booked through Booking.com an apartment here for €25, which is nothing.
Yeah, of course.
It's super incredibly cheap. It's very comfortable. And the guy met me, gave me the keys, showed me the apartment, and then said, "Welcome to Vukovar. We must have a rakia together." And then, so we had the rakia, and then he opened the fridge and said, "There's the rest of the bottle, and there are 3 beers in there. If you want those, that's included."
Yeah.
For €25. And I just thought, and elsewhere it's everything with the keypad, and it's €80, and you have no personal attention. I just thought that sums up for me that the hospitality here is great.
When you started the story, I knew that Rakia will be in this story. Of course.
Yeah, that's one of the dangerous things about
But people, like you said, when you come to Slavonia, when you come to Vukovar, you will be greeted as a friend.
Yeah.
You're not a tourist. Yeah. Okay, what do you need? I can show you.
Yeah.
Do you need this? Do you need that?
Yeah.
We want that you experience this feeling in Slavonia, this feeling in Vukovar.
Yeah.
Not only you can sleep wherever you like, but when you come here, you will be greeted as a friend. Yeah. And I think that this is our advantage. I hope that this will stay our advantage in years to come.
So just to conclude, really, your kids now are 7 and 12. What kind of future do you see for them in Vukovar?
I think that I passed this local patriot feeling to them.
Good.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I don't know. They're pretty smart kids. They're smarter than I am. So maybe I say maybe they'll be scientists. If you are a scientist, like we have our Nobel Prize winner Lavoslav Ružička, he had to go abroad. Yeah. Because if you are Luka Modric, you have to go abroad. You cannot play in Croatia for your whole life. I really hope as a father that they will be somewhere here in Vukovar, in Slavonia. Yeah. But I also hope wherever they are that they will be happy. And they will come here, maybe if they go abroad, they will come here very often. Because it's some kind of a feeling I cannot explain. I had this, my grandfather, they always say that I'm a spitting image of him. He was a refugee. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, I want to go back to my village, the village of Berak, which is near Vukovar. And I asked him, okay, Grandpa, it's better for you here. Trust me, son, I really want to go back just to die there. Mm. And I was telling, okay, Grandpa, just to die. You can die everywhere you want. So,
and now you're the same.
Yeah, I'm the same. So he told me, and I can feel this because you are connected here. I have my roots here. I'm connected to this ground, to this Vukovar, and it's hard to explain. I really like to travel. In a couple of days, I'm going to Germany. Then I'm going, I don't know, to Bosnia, to Czech Republic. But when I go back, when I see this Vukovar sign, my heart goes.
Really?
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in love with a girl.
Yeah.
Your heart starts pounding. Also, when I go back to Vukovar, everything is great. I'm not even tired. I really want to be here with my kids. Hope they will feel the same way.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you very much. I mean, you're such a positive inspiration, and I hope your voice gets heard way further than Vukovar, because you have the mindset and the positivity that is needed to change this country. And if more people were like you, we would have a completely different country here.
Thank you very much. It's great to hear this, because I really enjoy living here. And I have to call to all of your followers. I'm not into social media, but all the people who are reading your articles, come to Vukovar, enjoy our city, eat, drink, have fun, learn something new, something from Croatian history, something from Vukovar history, something from Vukovar history. And trust me, I can bet on this. You will be very, very happy man or a woman when you go back to your country.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Perfect.
Yeah. The guy's a legend.